What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. And today we are going over the NFC East, which is a really crazy division when you think about it. We've got the reigning Super Bowl champion, the team that lost to them in the NFC Championship, and then you've got the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders, two teams that missed or not the Commanders, the New York Giants, two teams that missed the playoffs, but and one of which was one of the worst teams in the NFL last year and probably projects to be more of the same this year. But before we get into all four of those teams, we'll talk about them all in depth. Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've done a lot of running today. I got up and ran for about 2 miles, and then I went to the gym and I played full court basketball for a while.
Okay.
So I've just been running and running and running.
Are you making a point to be more active?
No, I run every Sunday morning, and
Really?
for the basketball, I just finally found some runs that aren't completely above my skill level. So
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I'm not good at basketball, unfortunately. It's not a sport I played at all growing up.
Can you
I
still
played.
dunk, Theo?
No, I cannot still dunk. It's up for debate if I could ever dunk on a regulation hoop. That video of me dunking, I don't know if it was regulation or not. I've never measured the hoop at that park, but I could dunk at the hoop of that park. I don't know if I could go on an NBA court and dunk the basketball ever.
It looked good to all of us. And if you believe it,
I was definitely at my athletic peak when I worked on that farm. But
if we
no, I can
it's
grab the
true.
rim. I can grab the rim, but I cannot dunk the basketball. I think
Really,
more
bro.
people should play with a women's-sized ball. That's my big gripe with pickup basketball is guys always come in and they got the NBA ball. And we're not NBA-sized, man. Like, let me get the smaller ball. I've got smaller hands. Like, if
Interesting.
the women are smaller and get a smaller ball, why can't us regular people get smaller balls too? But no, I don't want to play with the girls' ball, bro. Like, we got to get the regulation ball.
Girl.
We're not regulation sized. So I wish I could play basketball with a smaller ball because I don't know. I just don't got that big of hands.
Yeah. I don't think that's
I'm the same way.
I do have the one gripe I would have with that would be like, at least what I think about, like I play flag football and sometimes people bring like specific, like they make like different footballs for flag sometimes. And to me, those footballs are too light. So I never liked playing with those. Like they're just like weird to hold compared to like a regular football to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what those are, but if they were smaller, I'd be down with it because we're just not pro athletes and everything should be scaled down for us normal. There should be regulation for pro, and then there should be pickup equipment that's smaller.
But do you feel the same way about the rim, like lowering the rim?
I would love if the rim was lowered. I would love to play on a lowered rim, smaller. Like, I feel like my enjoyment would go way up if that
Probably.
was
I think
smaller
it's just dishonorable, unfortunately.
Like, yeah, it's tough. But maybe this is just a skill issue because I'm really not that good. It's mostly dribbling.
Yeah.
I'm just not good at dribbling, and I can put up as many shots as I want on an empty rim, but I just feel like the only way to get better at dribbling and beating people off the dribble and like getting tough layups is by playing a ton of basketball, and I just haven't done that in my life. So if anybody has any advice on how to get better at like getting through like the alley and getting to the rim for a novice like me, I'd love to know, because I can get the ball and I won't turn it over, like I'm not a reckless passer. I think over the course of the game, I paced myself a little bit more. You always have a little bit more time than you think you do, right? So I'm not turning the ball over. I can shoot a little bit. I can get rebounds, but I just cannot do anything with a dribble. So I kind of have to catch it, just be a turret and then stand again. So maybe I should just stand at the elbow or something and just be a little hub.
You can be Klay Thompson. Yeah.
See, I'm just not that good at shooting. I need to be like, I don't know. They just need to get it to me in like the elbow, right? And then I hold it above my head because I'm pretty tall, and then just scan and like look for a pass. That's like the extent of my game is like
Can you play
elbow.
defense?
I'm sure that I'm annoying to go against because I'm pretty lengthy.
Yeah.
And I can move my feet a little bit. Like I'm not totally clumsy.
I'm
but
a little more slow-footed person.
I'm very annoying to go against.
Yeah, I bet. And I got good endurance, so I can run around pretty good. Yeah, that's my scouting report. It's really just the dribbling that's an absolute massive liability. Just a massive liability. I need to get to the pin. I need to get to the paint. And I
can't dribble. I can't shoot. When I shoot like a 3, it's like this super arching shot. Like it's gonna hit like the top of the backboard.
Yeah.
Like, probably 30% of shot attempts.
I'm not a good shooter, but I can like make it.
Buddy, I got good news. If you could do that,
I can make it sometimes. Am I a good shooter? No, but I can make it sometimes.
All right, what's your basketball game?
I'm not embarrassed by my shots. I'll let it fly.
Okay.
I probably shoot like low 30%, maybe lower.
I don't remember who it was that said my
zero.
comp was Pat Bev with brain damage.
That's everybody's comp. I feel like that's my comp.
Everyone's comp.
That's everyone who can't play basketball's comp. Like I could play defense. Yeah, you better.
Yeah.
And you can. You know, there is always that. You can't. You know, everyone can hustle. All right.
That's true.
Everyone can lock in.
Everyone can lock in.
But anyway, that's what I was doing today.
Matt, how was your Sunday and weekend?
It was all right. I haven't been sleeping well, so I might have to go to like a doctor or something. I'm like back to back 3 hours. So that's tough. I've worn a hole in my slides, in the bottom of my slides. And it makes me feel like I'm not over consuming when I like completely use something that much. I've had them for like 6 or 7 years. And you know what? I haven't even like thought about replacing them. It wasn't an intentional play for me to be like, I'm going to keep them. And no, I wore them down, honestly. I'm a guy who I feel like always loses things or replaces things quicker than that. I can never keep track of my pencils. So it's a big moment for me. That was my rose, bro.
Oh yeah. I'm proud of you. I kind of felt the same way when I like ripped up the bottom of my football cleats. I'm like, I've had these since like junior year of high school. And then I took them.
It's satisfying. It's satisfying to use something until it just completely disintegrates.
It is a little. I'm trying to do the same thing with like my phone right now because people keep being like, dude, I have an iPhone 13. It's not like ancient.
I don't even know what number we're on anymore.
My mom has a 16. My sister has a 15. My girlfriend has a 15. So it's just like, people are like, dude, why don't you just get a new phone? I'm like, because mine still works. It overheats from time to time. But other than that, we're cooking. It's probably because I have like 400 gigabytes worth of pictures and old TikToks stored. So
the TikToks will get you.
The TikToks will get you.
Something I wanted to talk about before we got into the NFC East. Have you guys seen the second round pick drama?
No.
Like in general second round pick drama? Or
yeah.
Like
you know how many
specific second round pick drama?
You know how many of them have signed?
How many?
2.
What?
2 of them. 2 second round picks have signed their contracts. Schlesinger and Higgins. Higgins got a fully guaranteed contract, and now everybody is asking for it.
Oh,
two second round picks have signed as of right now. And like mini camps start here in a few days.
Right. No,
tomorrow, I think.
Like literally tomorrow. They're not going to go. They're all like, you know, this is relevant. Makuba. is like holding out as it stands right now. I believe maybe it wasn't Makuba specific. It was somebody major.
Trey Harris.
I mean, all of them. Yeah, Trey Harris is a guy who's like just straight up holding out.
Trey Harris a few.
But none of these guys have signed because now everybody's asking for fully guaranteed contracts.
Dude, they should just all strike. Like, things are so messed up with the players' union right now and the collusion case and the owners talking to each other. Like,
crazy. It's crazy. NFL players do not have fully guaranteed contracts across the board. It's nuts that the most, I don't want to say necessarily the most dangerous sport, but like of the 4 major North American ones, like, yeah, like it's crazy, right? And I mean, I guess I don't know about hockey. How guaranteed is hockey? Still does partial guarantees, right?
mm-hmm.
But in the NFL, it's like it's just totally screwy, and with all the restructuring, it should just be straight cash. And I hope the players end up getting the win on that one.
I would argue. I don't want to get into like a what sport is more dangerous debate, but I would argue football is probably more dangerous than.
Football is definitely more dangerous. Like, football is the most organized.
Yeah,
or the most dangerous organized team sport. Like, if you're
gladiators, it's like literal gladiators.
Yeah. If you're base jumping, that's a more dangerous sport. But like, if you're playing with a team, it doesn't get more dangerous than football. And the owners are the richest owners. They're the most valuable. Franchises in the world. The Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in the world. And then like next on the list is the Rams, and then it's the Giants, and then it's the Jets, and then it's the 49ers, and then it's the Raiders, then it's the Eagles, then it's the Bears, then it's the Commanders, then it's the Dolphins. Patriots are up there too. I skipped them.
Yeah. Yeah, they should just have fully guaranteed contracts.
Oh wait, no, that's the most valuable NFL teams. That's why.
I was gonna say, like,
I'm like, wow, like every NFL team is just the most valuable
over the Lakers.
My bad.
And the Yankees, maybe.
Okay, the Cowboys are still number 1, and then it's Warriors 2, and then it's Rams, Yankees, Knicks, Patriots, Giants. Lakers, Jets, 49ers, Raiders, Eagles.
But it's still primarily NFL.
It's still primarily NFL. Yeah, my point still stands that it's the most valuable. They're bringing in the most revenue, the NFL players.
Mm-hmm.
More than any other athlete, like per player, an NFL player is the most valuable employee in the sports world. But they get the worst contracts. So the union is terrible, basically. The union is like actually a joke how bad it is. So I support any holdout. I support any strike in any industry.
Oh yeah.
But especially in football. But
you guys want to get into the NFC East?
Yeah, luckily they won't strike, and we'll be able to watch the opening week game of Eagles versus Cowboys.
Let's start with Philly, since we've already talked about them a lot, and maybe it'll be a little bit shorter because they've been in both our top 10 offenses and our top 10 defenses. They've been like, what were they?
Were they
2 on offense? I don't think they were quite. They were 2 in one of them. We went Denver over Philly. Regardless, it doesn't really matter.
Offense, Ravens were number 1, Eagles were number 2, defense, Eagles were number 1, Broncos.
Okay. Gotcha. So we obviously think that, like, on paper as a whole, they're still the best team in the NFL. That's my thought. They had a little bit of turnover at some key positions, but my opinion is that they may have even added more in terms of, like, what they did in the draft with Campbell and Makuba, assuming that Campbell gets healthy and Makuba signs a contract, right? And like Ajomo is a guy who I think is going to break out. So with Williams gone, I feel like they're still in good shape. They've got a lot of really young defenders who could even take another step. Like, does Jalen Carter turn into the best defensive tackle in the NFL? He certainly is talented enough to, and it feels like any given year that could be the case for him. What does year 2 Quinyon Mitchell look like? Like, we had him in our top 10 cornerbacks, and I don't think he was like even the most technically sound guy ever last year. So there's a lot of room for growth there. And then on offense, like, we kind of think it'll be business as usual. Their offensive line still looks really good. They still got Saquon. They still have 2 top tier receivers, and they got Jalen Hurts. I just don't see a reason to be particularly negative about them, other than it's tough to do it in back-to-back years and more changes than we expect. So it's fair to do the exercise maybe of like how could it go wrong? Because otherwise you're just going to sit here and say, yeah, they win 15 games or whatever. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're my pick for the NFC pretty easily, I think. Just like, again, in terms of like on paper favorites, we talked about this earlier about who else is challenging in the NFC. But I really like how they were able to bring everybody back. I really think they're still super complete, and I loved their draft picks. If anything, I think the new fold could be that they're crazy in pass coverage. I brought this up like 4 episodes this offseason, but Campbell is a uniquely good coverage linebacker, and Makuba is a uniquely good ball hawk. So I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, I keep trying to think. You're right, Matt, like going the route of what could go wrong for this team. And it's hard to think of anything other than just like, oh,
The drop back passing game
gets hurt, or like if defenses were just like, we are just going to stack the box. We're just going to do 7-8 man front, and we're going to force Jalen Hurts to drop back and beat us every single game, every single snap. The problem is they might just be able to do that. Like I
mean, that's what it was in the Super Bowl.
That's like, I get there are some concerns with like the drop back passing game still, but when push came to shove in the Super Bowl against a good Chiefs defense, they torched them, like absolutely lit up the Chiefs secondary. So I really don't know if there is a world where they don't, at the very least, win this division. They might not go win the Super Bowl again, but
yeah, they're going to be plenty good enough to win the division. Really, the only thing I have on them is I do think that it's possible to overrate the offense. I think 2 on our ranking is a little bit on the high end for them, just because last year they didn't rank second in a lot of metrics. They were 13th in offensive DVOA. They were 13th in offensive success rate. They were 6th in points per drive. They were 6th in EPA per play. They were 9th in yards per drive. It was a real story that their drop back passing game was really struggling. And Hurts was really struggling for a lot of last year. And if he's a weak link, then they're very much beatable. If your quarterback's a weak link, then they're very much beatable. And he was throughout the regular season and really throughout the playoffs until the Super Bowl, when obviously he played a great game and lit it up and all that. But I think as long as that's a question, they're not quite, an unbeatable juggernaut. That is, I think, the most important.
They got challenged. They got challenged in the playoffs.
They got a challenge ahead with that. But they've been able to go to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years here, and Hurts hasn't been, he's been Hurts. He's been the same guy. He's had the same skill set, right? So even if it is the 9th best offense or the 6th best offense, or even if they're 13th in DVOA like they were last year, there's still enough going for them in the run game and the defense. For them to win it all. And you can't really see the wheels falling off of them and them ending up like much lower than 13th in some of these stats, right? Like it kind of feels like they were operating
like horrific injury. Yeah, right. It's hard to see how their floor could be. I don't even disagree, Blaiden. It would take something from another one of these teams for their floor to end up being not winning the division.
I mean, there's just no other good defense in this division is how I feel about it. And that's part of the reason, again, where their DVOA is so low, 13th. The DV of DVOA stands for defensive adjusted. I guess that's just the D. But if you play really easy defenses, you're not going to get awarded as much in that metric. And according to FTN Fantasy, who keeps that stat, the Eagles had the 2nd easiest offensive schedule last year, in large part because the Cowboys defense was ass and the Giants defense was ass, and the Commanders defense was pretty mid as well. So Like, and that's still true for a lot of the other teams in this division. So
I mean,
the
the Eagles' defensive success rate last year was number 1. The next closest defensive success rate in the NFC East was Washington at 18th.
yeah,
Dallas at
exactly.
22nd, and the Giants were 28th.
Exactly.
It is
Exactly.
a very staggering drop off.
Yeah, for sure. And this Eagles defense, they definitely deserve their number 1 ranking. If 2 is a little bit high for the offense, I think 1 is the perfect spot for the defense. Just you can't get anything over the top on these guys. There's just no big plays allowed at all. And I think that's going to continue with the pass rush looking the way it does. Watching some of these NFC East matchups in preparation for this show, there was 2 straight plays in the Week 16 Commanders versus Eagles game where their defensive tackles ended a drive. It was 4th and 1, and 2 guards just bounce, or 2 interior linemen just bounce off Jordan Davis. Like, they literally hit him and they're absorbed into his fat rolls, and they literally bounce off like a cartoon character. And one of them was Sam Cosme. He was like a great lineman too. He just like bursts through the 2 with no effort and ends the drive right then and there by taking up so much space up the middle. And then it's 1st and 10 on the next drive. They run gap scheme, so they pull a guard, and then the center has to go block Jalen Carter down. Jalen Carter just runs up the field around the block, loops around, and then forces a fumble on Brian Robinson, and the Eagles recover. So having those 2 in the middle just allows them to do so many cool things on the back end along with Bond. They just, it doesn't matter that they're a little bit unsound up front at all with Davis and them. Like, it just, they've got the math exactly right, and the players to make the math exactly right.
I always think back to the NFC Championship game where you look at each team's first drive, and it's that, to me, told the entire story for both of those teams in that game. And I think both of those teams coming into this season, the Commanders go 18 plays, 54 yards, and kick a field goal. The Eagles go 1 play, 60 yards for a touchdown. Like, and they end up winning 55-23. So like, that's, I think that kind of encapsulates how much better the Eagles are than everyone else in this division.
Yeah. They lost Sweat. They did lose some people. They lost Sweat. They lost CJ Gardner-Johnson and Darius Slay and Mekhi Becton. But I think Steen's going to be a good replacement, especially with Stoutland coaching him up. And in fact, there are some things I think Steen was already better at than Mekhi Becton, honestly. Azeez Ojulari and Uche and Jalix Hunt should be able to kind of rotate in and fill the spot of Sweat, at least from a pass rushing perspective. Those are all pretty capable pass rushers. Like, we'll see if the few weak links end up sinking them more. I expect that it will, like, a little bit compared to where they were at last year, but they're still, I agree that they're the most complete roster just on paper.
Even if we took out like them being the most complete, is it fair to say that the Eagles' best players are better than anyone else's best players in this division also?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how many top 20 players in the NFL live in Philadelphia right now? Saquon, AJ, Lane.
Bond, how he played last year, I would consider top 20.
Jalen Carter's probably knocking on the door.
Carter's knocking on that door, absolutely. Yeah.
Mulata.
And then if you're just
people will give Jalen Hurts that classification as well, even though I personally wouldn't. But some people
I don't know how many people would consider Jalen Hurts a top 20 player in the NFL.
I feel like a lot of people still think
we did the Chat BCC top 100. So I saw a lot of people's top 20s lists. There was one fan who had him at 1.
As they
and
should.
Then there was one other person who had him at 20. So he was on 2 people out of about 50 responses. Had him as an overall top player, but almost everybody had Lane. Almost everybody had Saquon, and then there were a lot of AJ Browns. There was a lot of Mulatas.
And speaking of the chat BCC,
there were a couple Jalen Carters.
And speaking of the chat BCC group chat, if you guys don't know, we have this group chat that you guys can join, and you just got to go to stayhot.chat in your browser, and you can join what some are considering to be the greatest group chat of all time. We're talking about sports. You'll see that Theo just mentioned the top 100. We tweeted out the first 100 through 91 of that list, and that was a consensus list drawn up with the Stay Hot chat members.
The help of them or the sabotage of them?
The help or the sabotage. Regardless, we're talking ball in that chat. It's a lot of fun. We're talking about non-ball stuff also. A lot of people saw the new Superman movie, and there were talks about how everyone thought about that. So we're talking about all types of stuff in the Stay Hot chat. So
the coolest bird call in North America.
The coolest bird.
I heard a bird call this morning that I couldn't place, and I won't try to recreate it now. But I was like, Theo Ash should be here, man. He'd know.
You get the Merlin Bird ID app. I
didn't have my phone on me, man. I was kind of just like disconnected and unplugged. So I just actually don't have technology by me all the time, but I get.
Okay. So you were on a nature walk with nothing but your thoughts.
Here's what. Hey, if you want to kidnap Matthew Spawnhour, if he's out walking, he probably doesn't have his phone. You could just snatch him up.
Yeah. Was it buzzy or was it whistly?
When someone comes to snatch me up and I pull out my phone and stop them.
Was the bird call buzzy or whistly?
It would help that much. Honestly, I don't know. It was like very prominent, I guess. It was very I'd say full-throated, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of birds that call with a lot.
I don't know, man. I said, here's the thing. I said, okay. I don't even want to try to describe it or recreate it.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Because I don't even fully remember it, honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
Did it go like that?
I don't think so. No, I don't.
You could also just send a picture in the Stay Hot group chat, and Theo will tell you what kind of bird it is.
That's true.
But I didn't have my phone on me.
Oh, that's true. You didn't have your phone. But
yeah.
For anyone else that might have their phone on them, if you just send a picture in the Stay Hot group chat, and you're like, Theo, what kind of bird is this? He'll tell you because he's goated like that. So make sure you go to stayhot.chat in your browser, download the Chat BCC app, and join the greatest group chat of all time with your boys here at Stay Hot. And we hope to see you there soon. But Philadelphia Eagles, we think, are by far and away the best team in this division. Washington did go to the NFC Championship game. Jaden Daniels had an outstanding rookie season. There was that kind of typical slump you see with this type of offense. And, Kyler Murray's had that before, and we were worried that Jaden Daniels would suffer kind of the same fate. But he did kind of turn things around, after that, kind of midpoint of the season slump. And he himself had a pretty good playoff run as well up until the NFC Championship game. And I thought he even played pretty well in that game.
It was more than 55 points.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, not much he could have done. But I thought during the back half of the season, his numbers were down, but I thought he was playing probably better.
Yeah.
First half of the season where things were more in structure. Do we think that we'll see a repeat? Do we think we'll see Jaden Daniels be just as good as he was last year? Do you expect a sophomore slump? And obviously the main concern is their defense. How worried are you about that?
Well, first off, I think Daniels is a very good quarterback. I think that there's significant upgrades made to that offense, and I think they're going to be pretty good again. Where it falls compared to where they were last year, statistically, that's up in the air, but I think it'll be, did we have it in our top 10 offenses? If not, I feel like it's just right outside.
We did.
Yeah, we had it at 9.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fair spot for it. And, again, with the upgrades they made to the offensive line, I think kind of just expecting a slump or just some natural regression, but not considering the improvements that they made wouldn't be fair. I can definitely get behind there's groups of weapons I'm more excited about than what Washington has. Obviously Terry is awesome. We'll see how Debo looks and how they use him. I know he's going to be a very flexible weapon, and I'm sure Kingsbury is interested in that. But I still think overall, if you have a good quarterback and you made big upgrades to the offensive line and it was good last year, like there's no reason to think that it's not going to be pretty competent. The concern is that defensively, I don't know how they're expecting their front four to go out there and like win at an NFL level. I mean, it's Dietrich Wise, Kinlaw, Payne, Armstrong, right now on the depth chart on ESPN. Just glancing at it, I think their pass rush looks really weak. Their front as a whole looks really weak. And, we can talk about how much like we like their linebackers potentially, like what we think of Wagner at this point and Luvu's skill set, or, there's some secondary pieces that we might like there who are, maybe older, questionable, or young guys that we like. But I just really think that front four is going to hold them back.
Respect Johnny Newton, though, man.
He didn't have the greatest rookie season. I was hoping for more. But, yeah, it's just tough to look at the defense and see any particular unit that will be a big positive in the playoffs. That's where I'm at. Like, there are some decent players everywhere. I'm excited for Trey Amos, and we'll see if Marshawn Lattimore can be more of a positive because he was dealing with a hamstring injury right after they traded for him. But
I think
like,
there's
the way
a path
he
to
looked
their
was,
corner room being pretty dang good. Like,
but even with that, Lattimore was concerning after they traded him for last year, to say the least. And then their front, like, there's something I like Payne a lot, but and they're a real penetrating downhill unit that had a lot of splash plays last year. Like Luvu had a lot of plays in the backfield. Wagner made a ton of tackles, right? But I also think that they're just kind of so focused on, getting downhill in a big bunch that they're really susceptible to plays like trap and plays where that kind of aggressiveness is used against them. And I really think the Kinlaw addition was an overpay, and he's not going to solve any of their problems. I'm not quite sure what they were thinking there. He was part of a really, really bad Jets front, and he was part of the problem. So, yeah, I agree that, like, the front four, I mean, there are some solid players there, but is it something that's going to be able to go up to against the Eagles this time around and not allow 55? Like, that's just not what they addressed this offseason, and it's clearly what they needed to. So this rebuild is still a little bit away from being like genuine contenders because of that, to me.
Yeah, I do also have a little bit of concern for the run game on their offense, because outside of Jaden Daniels, I felt like the run game was pretty lackluster last year. And, teams aren't going to do, not to say, Jaden Daniels is still going to be able to create stuff on the ground himself, right? Just
right.
Like Lamar Jackson's able to, but I don't feel like they're able to kind of make a run game with Jaden Daniels the same way that the Ravens are able to with Lamar. Like the Ravens, even before they got Derrick Henry, were like a super efficient run game with like just randoms back there in a way that Washington really wasn't last year. And so that's one thing that I am still concerned about, is like, even if the passing game is good with like Terry and Debo, and they've got Noah Brown, and you're still asking a lot from like Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. It just feels like a very
for sure. I mean, their running backs, if you take Jaden away, their running backs only averaged 4.5 yards per carry last year. And that's pretty low with the help that they get from Jaden stealing a gap. Like the Ravens were at 5.6.
Yeah.
The Eagles were at 5.3. The Cardinals were at 5. The Bills were at 5.6.
No, you're totally right. Daniels is one of the most electric runners, and like you should see like that 5.5 year, like the crazy efficiency, and you don't really get that. Part of my other concern with them is like, because Daniels, I feel like the injury stuff and like the hits he takes is so much bigger of a story. I'm worried that they get like too conservative with like allowing him to be him, and like how much he, uses his legs when that's his superpower, obviously. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, but I
He
just
did have
remember
that rib injury last year.
I remember for the Panthers, like that always used to be a big issue that they would have is that like, the first couple of years it was fun and they'd like just let Cam do whatever. And then they're like, well, now he's our franchise quarterback and we don't want him to get beat up. And it didn't start to get bad until like real late in his career, but they just got too nervous with using him as a runner and it really hurt them. And the way that people talk about Daniels reminds me of that. Maybe that's kind of a homery. This is like Carolina Panthers guy who knows one football game take.
Yeah.
But
no,
he's
I don't
still
think it's
like
really far off.
there's a balance between like limiting hits and still using your legs a lot, which he's gonna have to do.
And Lamar's the best at that right now, right? Where like you can tell he's not like pure downhill running as hard as he possibly can, and he's still able to make plays with his legs. But that's something that Daniels will more have to figure out so that the coaching staff doesn't just like pull his leash. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish they had two kick-ass running backs, but even though they don't, it's still a pretty good run game. Like they were.
No, it's a fine run game. It's just.
I mean, it's a really good run game. It's a really good run game. I just wish they had better backs. Like they were third in yards per game rushing last year. They were fourth in overall yards per carry when you include what Jaden was doing. So they still are very formidable on the ground. And overall, this offense, I don't think it's going to regress too hard, if at all. Yeah. I mean, there was a point last year where like clearly they were going to fall down to earth. Like the first 4 weeks of the
Daniels
season,
was completing like 87% of his passes or something, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. They scored on like 20 of 22 possessions, like a point early in the season. Like their EPA per drive number was second since 2000 behind the 2007 Patriots in the first month of the season. And yeah, it did get worse, but like even after week 5, they still were 7th in EPA if you include the playoffs. And all they've done is upgrade the line, which is probably the best thing you can upgrade. Getting Tunsil is going to be nice because it allows Brandon Coleman, who I think had a really good rookie season. Like it looked like they were developing a franchise left tackle, and then they trade for Tunsil. And now this guy who was looking super promising is now their left guard. So I'm excited for those two together, Tunsil and Coleman.
Dude, have you seen the Commanders ESPN depth chart? Because I was thinking about like,
I have seen it.
Why is it so?
Their depth pieces are crazy.
It's just like, why is it set? Like you're talking about Brandon Coleman. They have him as the backup right tackle right now on ESPN.
Yeah.
Like,
don't trust that.
It's just so weird. That's why I was just like, why is it set up like this?
The weird part about their depth chart to me is like the amount of like random names that they have on their team.
I feel like Washington is always one of those teams, no?
Maybe they are.
Shout out to Michael Gallup is what we're getting at.
Shout out to Michael Gallup. Shout out to Josh Johnson.
Shout out. If we're going to do all the I've realized that like every single quarterback room is interesting. Every time I look at a quarterback depth chart, I'm like, whoa, all of these guys. And then it's like, I think we just know all the quarterbacks, like, and their stories more. Like Sam Hartman isn't really particularly interesting outside.
Yes, he is because he's beautiful. Like Sam Hartman.
All right, you're right.
Sam Hartman is a more interesting 4th string than most. And then Josh Johnson's a more interesting 3rd string than most. Mariota is probably a more interesting 2nd string than most. Just like, oh, he's still around. And then, of course, there's Jaden. Shout out KJ Osborne.
The Eagles have Dorian Thompson-Robinson as their 3rd string quarterback, and Kyle McCord is their 4th string right now.
Dude, like, that's pretty good. Give me any. All right, I'm just going to go the Colts. Well, here's the thing. I know that their depth chart is interesting because it's Richardson, Daniel Jones, and it's Riley Leonard. Okay, their 4th is Jason Bean. I don't know a ton about Jason Bean. But he was, you know what? I remember watching him. Yeah, he was a Kansas guy. So, like, I don't know.
The Packers.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then the Browns have like Flacco and Gabriel and Shador and
the Browns are the kings of this right now.
but
That's completely different because they don't have like a set quarterback.
they don't have a quarter. Yeah, it's like who's the fourth string? I don't know. Probably Pickett, but
Dude, the Panthers' third string is Jack Plummer.
Shout out.
Shout out Louisville. Shout out Jake the Snake.
See, like everybody's got an interesting quarterback room.
Fair
And when
enough,
they trim it,
all right.
when they trim it down to 3, especially, it's like there's just not that many guys. There's not going to be some like quarterback we've just like straight never heard of, probably.
So do you know who the Dolphins depth chart is right now?
Oh,
I don't
it's
have any
Zach
clue.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Skylar Thompson's probably still on.
No. He is not the
Whoa! I'm
Yeah,
looking.
dude.
Brett Gabbert is
Dude,
there. Shout
Brett
out to
Gabbert.
Brett Gabbert. I didn't realize he was going to see a
Miami
90 man.
Redhawks legend.
All right, shout out
He
to
went from
him.
Miami to Miami. That's crazy.
And Glenn, it's every quarterback room is crazy. All of them. I'll give you this. There's a few when you're in this part of the season where it's like the fourth guy is just some dude. But when you get down to 3, there are almost no NPCs.
Okay, the Broncos isn't that interesting. Jarrett Stidham and Sam Ellinger, that's pretty NPC.
It's pretty
Jarrett
NPC, but like we've had takes about those guys.
Yes.
Whereas like there's plenty of, I don't know, like even probably, I don't know, running back, I guess, is kind of like that. There's plenty of like wide receiver 6s that I don't have like a strong take on, or we haven't like discussed in depth before. But quarterback, I guess, is just so important that like, I don't know, when Sam Ellinger's like getting a few plays in or getting a few games in for the Colts, like I think you made a video on him one time, Theo.
No, I didn't.
So like I don't know. Every
Yeah.
quarterback is interesting in their own unique way.
True. What were we talking about with the Commanders?
We were talking about their depth chart.
Oh
Right.
yeah, because their offensive line is like out of whack on ESPN right now.
Yeah. Man. But I was saying that once Cosme comes back, it's going to be a shmoney offensive line. Because Cosme is one of the league's best guards. He's coming off an ACL, which he did suffer in the playoffs. So it might be a while, and that's something.
I see no red letter by his name.
Well, he did tear his ACL. You are taking the ESPN depth chart in July too seriously here. Yes, he tore his ACL and will miss the beginning of the season. But man, once he comes back, they will be rolling. And like John Bates is a crazy blocking piece. They've always got the 2 backs in the backfield, Eckler and Robinson. And when they add all these people to the backfield, it just multiplies what the linebackers have to worry about. Like, even if it's Austin Eckler lead blocking, you still have to worry about like, oh, he's going to the flat really quick, or he's motioning behind Jaden Daniels, and there's a possibility he's going out to the flat and it's actually inside zone. Like, the amount of variations of the same run play they can have, but they can make the handoff look so different each time. It's just a problem when Jaden Daniels is such a threat to keep it himself and run. And he pulls it so late too. That's the other thing, is like they'll be running read option and he'll just be reading it. You'd think, no way it's him. He has to have handed it off. And then he pulls it back. Like, it's got to be so annoying to deal with. And it's just good offense. And it's going to keep working. It's not like that's going to become less confusing or teams are just going to like study and figure it out. Like, you can study it, but in the moment, it's still going to freeze you because Jaden is so fast. Like, it's still going to make you think.
Movement is out of this world.
Yeah, and once the line gels by the end of the year, like the run game should be pretty terrifying, despite the fact that I wish their running backs were better. But I still don't think they're quite Super Bowl contenders because of the defense. And like, outside of Terry, are there going to be drop issues? Are there going to be separation issues? Like, I'd like to see them add a second, more weapons around Jaden still.
Where do you have him in the division?
I think it's going to be tough with the Cowboys. I think
Well,
it's
do
going to
we
be
want to
tough.
talk about the Cowboys then?
Let's talk about the Cowboys.
Let's talk about the Cowboys.
So if we're talking about Cowboys versus Commanders, and I saw you run a poll on this in the group chat, but if we're talking about Cowboys versus Commanders, I feel like you got to be putting a lot on Dak and a lot on the drop back passing game to be really, really good, right? Because I don't particularly trust Dallas's defense still, and I don't know if their run game is going to be like, well, it's certainly not going to be better than Washington's, right?
Hmm. Yeah, but it's okay to put a lot on Dak's plate because Dak is a really, really good quarterback, and he usually does lead them to top 10 offense results.
What were they with him in last year?
What were they with him in last year? I don't know what week he got hurt exactly, but I will tell you, I think he made it to at least week 6. And their drop back
Too small of a sample size.
EPA was probably not great. I mean, yeah, it was 25th. But that is a really small sample size. That might not even be the right sample size. And Mike McCarthy is gone now, and George Pickens has arrived. And I think that I just think that if you expand the sample size, you're going to get a better idea of what Prescott is capable of.
It's too much. It's too much on Dak for me. Their run game is not going to be very good. Their running backs are completely terrible. It's genuinely one of the worst running back rooms going into a season that I've. Is this like a crazy hot take? Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. I mean, if Jaden Blue is like really good, cool. Like maybe that can save him. But those two guys as your vets in the room is ridiculous, obviously. And I mean, running back isn't the most important position, but that doesn't mean you can't shoot yourself in the foot. At the same time, like their offensive line isn't going to be, like super, super consistent. So I don't see how that's supposed to be like a strong suit for them, right? And in the pass game, like, Dak is great, but I guess I like the Pickens edition. I guess it will be good. Like I'm pro Dak, so I'll get down with the drop back passing being all right. But Pickens is kind of a one speed guy, and Dak's had the injury stuff. I just don't look at this offense as like more than average. I mean, did you consider it for the top 10 offenses? I didn't.
But maybe I should have. Like, CD is a real problem, man. And I think the play calling is going to be better without McCarthy.
Yeah.
Like, looking back at what they were doing, like, in the Giants game last year, again, watching these interdivisional matchups, like, McCarthy is just super uninspired. Like, I made a video about this, but it was 1st and 19 at a point. They're protecting, like, a 5-point lead. Dak can pick up 3rd and 19. I know he can. They go handoff to CeeDee Lamb for 1st and 19. It, of course, loses a yard. He's running wide zone. He tries to bounce it because he can't, like, hit the severe cutback that he would have needed to. So it's 2nd and 20 now after the CeeDee Lamb handoff. They then run a draw with Ezekiel Elliott. 2nd down. Actually picks up decent yardage because Tyler Smith is the GOAT and made a crazy block. Then it's 3rd down and 12. CD doesn't even run a route. He just stands at the line of scrimmage and everybody else runs a route. Ball ends up going to the fullback. They go out of bounds. Like, there were so many drives like that for the Cowboys last year, even before Dak got hurt, where they just like punted on 1st down, essentially. Like, McCarthy just decided, like, it's too risky to drop back and pass. Like, we're just gonna live to play another down. Like, that kind of mentality, and we'll see what Shoddy does. But I feel like there's a lot more meat on the bone. Like I said, they were 25th in drop back EPA. That's horrible. All right, and that's on coaching. That is not on Dak. That is not on CD. We know they're capable.
They were 2nd in the NFL in drop back EPA and success rate in 2023, and that
right
with like basically the same cast of guys.
And Pickens is better than anybody they had then. Like, Pickens is obviously a kind of a one-trick pony, and
That's not
a consistent
necessarily
route
like
runner.
that's kind of a negative way to look at him. The trick is really good, and
The trick is really good. Like, he does have ridiculous adjustments to the ball in the air. He can really stretch the sideline in
It's gonna
exactly
get
the
hard not
way
to
that
put
they
all your
need to.
attention on CD is half the battle. Like, there's only so much one guy can do. Like, you just have to have other guys who are winning out there. Or it's gonna be easy for the defense. Yeah. Here's the thing. I just don't see. I guess what I'm doing is that I'm like judging Cowboys versus expectations. And the expectations is that like Dallas is supposed to be a team that's competing because they've got a good quarterback and they've got these big stars. And to me, they still read as a team that might like have a decent win total because their stars are so good and because one of them's a quarterback or whatever, even though they weren't last year, which would still be an improvement. But if we're judging in the scheme of like, are they going to be competitive in the NFC? I still think they'll be a letdown. Maybe that gets some more wins than Washington. I still think I favor Washington a little bit more. I don't know if Dallas's defense is really all that much better. I mean, outside of Parsons, what's getting you excited for them? For me, it's not really much, man. Ezraku, yeah, but they're still like going to be weak against the run. I think. I don't feel like they really actively went out and addressed that. So I don't know. This is going to be a team that's got huge issues in major phases of the game. Like, they're definitely going to have a run game that's not that good to me. And they're definitely going to be bad against the run. Like, if you had to guess, like, who are going to be, in the bottom 5 of teams in terms of, like, rushing yards allowed, like, I feel like the Cowboys would be a unanimous pick for that, right? So, I don't know. Like, there's just too many major holes for me to get excited about, like, maybe Dak backpacking them to double-digit wins or whatever.
And so that is the other thing is, like, even if Dak and the passing offense are just otherworldly great, right? MVP caliber season for Dak again. The other aspect of their game that was really good was the fact that they had all of those pick sixes. Like, their EPA on defense in 2023 was like top 5 because like they just made so many plays on the football. And if you're not getting those again, I don't know if the team is going to be as good as it was that year. So I don't know. I very much am torn on how to feel about.
I still think they're gonna generate a lot of turnovers in the secondary. Frankly, I mean, like they have guys who like to gamble like that, and Micah wins so fast, like it makes those gambles turn out better. I don't think that leads to like a defense that holds up in the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna be like a really stout, well-rounded team or anything. That doesn't obviously help the run support, but I do bet that they end up getting a decent amount of turnovers. Like, you see the path of this Cowboys team. If you're sitting here
just
and say,
being
like,
the same old Cowboys, that's what you see the path for. Like, they can win double-digit games and finish second in this division, I think, like, pretty easily. Like, the Commanders did not really have to worry about the Cowboys last year. Like, it was just a wasted season. And maybe it will be again. But the Cowboys are very capable of being better than the Commanders, I think. Like, I really do.
It's possible. Like, I would take, I don't know, dude. I just give me the upgraded offensive line and a run game that's good with a quarterback that showed, I mean, that we had in the top 10 in our consensus rankings with Jaden Daniels, and a pass game that had a lot of people struggling, and they made it to the NFC Championship game. Like, give me that over like the Cowboys who are gonna have a hobbled run game and it's all on Dak. And if I guess I don't get into the one injury stuff with them,
no,
but
it's like they have less room for error, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be neck and neck. I think, but I do think they're similar caliber. And the Commanders upgraded their offensive line, but so did Dallas. They added Tyler Booker. I think we'll see how much of an upgrade he is over Zach Martin right away. But I don't think Zach Martin was playing at some peak Zach Martin level last year. I think he was pretty neutral at best. So I don't think it's unreasonable to say.
I kind of view it as neutral, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating where their offensive line will be a little bit, but
I think it could be a very average offensive line, but I think Tyler Booker can do not Tyler Booker. Tyler Smith can do a lot because he's super great. Like, he's super, super great. And then
Right.
we'll see if Guyton develops a little bit. I know he had a pretty rough rookie season, but he was always going to be a project. Terrence Steele, also very like average right tackle, I'd say. Not bad, not great. Like it should do enough to let Dak have like a functional, statistically like relevant season along with Pickens. But at the same time, I do think Dak has deteriorated his mobility. And that shows under pressure a little bit. So if there are problems with the line, that could really show through. But CD, Dak, and Tyler Smith are three of the best offensive players in the league. They're a little bit like the NFC Bengals, right? Like, man, there's one really good pass rusher. They've got a big three on offense that's super great, and you're just hoping the rest of the defense like hangs on and they put up enough points just by throwing the ball a million times. Like that's how I view them. And it can work. It can get them to the playoffs, I think. But will they make much noise there?
I see what you're saying. They are kind of like the NFC Bengals. Obviously not a perfect 1-to-1, but
yeah, and the Commanders are NFC what? They're not quite the Ravens. They're not the Ravens. I'd say I'm probably more. I don't know. Do you like the Cowboys or the Commanders defense more? Because
the
Cowboys at least have Micah.
Yeah, they at least have Micah. I'll give you that.
Micah, and
Micah,
you can say that
Eziraku for sure is
the pass rush. Oso Digizua, like if they ended up top 10 in pressure rate, would you be surprised?
All right, I'll give you. I'd rather be the Cowboys defense, I guess, just off of like, you can build around Parsons where there's no like key guy to build around for Washington. But like
no build around, just next year. Like,
all right, well, would it surprise you if Washington's defense was 21st and the Cowboys was like 23rd? Like, no,
it would not surprise me.
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe we're underestimating Parsons' impact. I mean, he's one of the 10, probably one of like the 5 most impactful non-quarterback players in the NFL.
If he wins deep boy,
yeah,
he's going to be the highest paid by the start of the season. He's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Like, I'm very confident in that. So having a guy like that, it does matter a lot, and he can make the secondary look good. I mean, he can do a lot. So I'll say Cowboys 2, Commanders 3, but I really do think, like, don't hold me to that, guys, please. I just like Dak. All right,
I like Dak too.
I like CD.
Daniels, I think, is significantly better, like a very clear tier above Dak right now.
I don't know if I'd go there yet. I mean, Daniels is obviously young and Dak is old, so like,
sure.
No,
like,
I mean, like they're probably headed in different long-term directions, and maybe Daniels takes a big jump next year, even though a lot of people expect a sophomore slump, and maybe Dak's mobility is like this is it, bro.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I would consider them like completely different tiers.
Dak is still one of the best pocket passers in the league. Like he gets through reads so quick. He's got the subtle pocket movement, just, hitting the top of his drop, sliding to avoid the rush on the edge, like sliding to avoid the second pressure point, like just maneuvering in kind of this subtle way, even though he's not crazy elusive. Like, he can do that. He's super accurate. Like, he's super aggressive downfield. Like, he was second in MVP voting for a reason. Like, he just hit so many big time throws 2 years ago. And I think he's still all capable of that. Like, in terms of operating like a spread out, like West Coast style of offense, that's where McCarthy's vision was correct.
He certainly is. But like the issue last year, obviously, was like, you can't have that inconsistent a wide receiver group outside.
Right. There needs to be some sort of.
This is different. Yeah. Judging him off of like the drop back success rate last year would probably be unfair. Yeah, I can get down with that. But he's still getting older, and the injuries are piling up. So we'll see. I wouldn't say they're in a different tier yet, though. That's way too early for me.
Who are you taking? Washington or Dallas, Matt?
I'm taking Washington.
I'll take Dallas. I'm gonna regret that, but I'm gonna take Dallas.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can
Not their
switch.
year, though.
I could switch at any time, subject to change. But it's a very tough call. It's a very tough call. Like, I could see both of these teams winning 10 games and Dallas gets like a tiebreaker, and that's like how it goes. But that brings us to the New York Football Giants, who we are not even considering, it seems, to be one of the first, second, or third team in this division. Why is that? Why are we so sure that they will be the worst team in the NFC East this year?
I'm having a hard time getting excited about their offenses. The number one thing here. I mean, first off, you have to have the quarterback discussion, right? We were not very high on Dart. We didn't think that he was like a great processor or like maybe, I mean, he's a good athlete, but not like a very special one. We wouldn't have taken him with a first round draft pick. And Russell Wilson, the alternative, like, is an incredibly limited QB, right? It's a lot of short stuff and outside stuff. He doesn't have the whole field open to him. So right there, like, you're already talking about like, I mean, I don't want to pick on anybody. You're talking about like a Steelers-esque offense where it's like immediately you're capping the ceiling and trying to figure out how you can get back up to average, because that's your high end, it feels like. And the answer is like, okay, they got to get more back to like the designed rollout stuff and the play action and all of that, which they had success with on an offense that was not that talented with Daniel Jones. Famously, they were able to pull that off. But like last year, they weren't really doing that as much, right? I mean, they had
Saquon Barkley that year,
and they had Saquon Barkley then. And I'll say they do have Malik Neighbors now.
Tracy, though.
Yeah, he's a solid back, but there's levels to this, right?
Yeah. They have Malik Neighbors, is what I would say. Neighbors
is the absolute truth. I think that he's going to be a first team All Pro type of guy sooner rather than later. I think every facet of his game is super sick, from, after the catch, the way he can get downfield, his speed, his get off, and like the way he plays the ball in the air. It all looks so natural to him, right? So they absolutely crushed that. But I just think, like, if you're talking about how they can get back to average, making it easy, it can be done, but it makes me very nervous.
Yeah.
Is there a world where the defense is just so good that it doesn't matter?
Blaiden, where'd you say they ranked last year?
In what? Defensive EPA?
You said success rate, and the Eagles were number 1, and you talked about the rest of the teams in this division. Did you say the Giants were 28?
They were 29th in EPA, 28th in success rate. But they added Brian Burns. They added Abdul Carter
last year.
They have Brian Burns still. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They have Brian Burns still. They added Abdul Carter.
Yes.
Their defensive line looks like pretty good on paper. Like those two coming off the edge with Dex in the middle. It's a lot.
Yeah. I could see their defense making a pretty massive improvement. I'll get, yes, I definitely could. Obviously, you could. Like, Abdul Carter is a good prospect, and they added Javon Holland and what's his name from the Saints? The corner, Paulson Adebo. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that the pressure could be overwhelming. I think it could be really tough to deal with. I don't think that's like too crazy of a hot take. And I think like Akarike is a good player. Like, they've got dudes there. And they were missing like Lawrence for a little bit. People have been hyping up like the pass rushing trio of Carter and Burns and Lawrence, and I think rightfully so. That's going to be more than a lot of people can deal with. But I guess maybe I'm sitting here looking at the limited offense, and I'm having trouble getting super excited. Again, it's just neighbors on that. And they could massively improve to an average defense and a below average offense and win like 7 games and before.
Yeah.
That's true.
The defense is just leaping up from such a low point that I'm not sure if Abdul Carter is going to make them just some sort of overwhelming force after being a bottom 5 unit last year, because early on, I just don't know how he's going to be as a power rusher or as an edge setter and things like that. And, you know, it should be a good pass rush. Like, there's no reason why it can't be top 5. But, you know, just how good would Abdul Carter have to be for it to go from 16th in pressure rate, which is where it was at last year, to first or something like that? He'd have to be pretty ridiculous, which I'm not ruling out. I'm not ruling that out.
I think you're kind of banking on the fact that he's not going in there as like the only guy. Like he's going in there to be kind of like, I don't want to say he's going to be the number 2, but he's going to be like right there with Burns, you know, where you have to deal with both of them at the same time. I think they could have. Yeah.
That's why they drafted Carter.
Hey, but he exists.
He does exist. He does. No one can deny this. Yeah, so maybe. I mean, there's a lot that is downstream from the pass rush, and the pass rush could be very good. It could be very good. And as mid as Dart and Russell Wilson are, they're a lot better than Daniel Jones. I believe that. Even Dart, I believe, is better.
I was about to say, do you think Dart is a lot better than Daniel Jones?
I kind of do. All Jones could do was like keep the ball on an option and run it between the tackles. Like that was his superpower, I guess. Like if there's one thing that he's like notable at, it's like, man, in the option game, he could do some things. Dart can do all of those things. And he's not just like the ugliest thrower of the football. Like Jones couldn't even
Daniel
throw
Jones
a spiral
was like the
last
worst.
year.
He had like the worst pocket management in the NFL for 6 years in a row.
His deep ball was like totally uncatchable. He has no sauce as a creator. Like he wants to be Mr. Fundamental. Like once he starts moving, he's not going to like adjust his arm slot or do even like the most basic like creative things. Like he wants to escape and then sort of set up in a fundamental position again and then throw. But like that's not how it works. You got to be like a baseball shortstop kind of deal. He just wasn't that whatsoever. And then for someone who wanted to be Mr. Fundamental, is like fundamentals were terrible. Like he couldn't throw a spiral. He missed screen passes. Like his deep ball was horrifically bad. Like there's just nothing really nice to say about his performance the last 2 years. Like Russ is, I think, a major upgrade because he's far more accurate, especially deep. Oh, yeah. He's somewhat comfortable creating. He's obviously not as elusive as he once was, but like compared to Jones, Giants fans are going to be like, "Wow, he's got sauce." Yeah, and kind of the same with Dart. Like Dart, at least like kind of knows what he's doing when he creates, but
at least Russ can. Yeah, he can't throw over the middle, but at least he can hit the sideline go ball.
Yeah, he's got a good go ball, and I'm excited for that with Neighbors. But both Wilson and Dart are going to be, I think, bottom tier pocket managers. And
so I've said with the Browns
and athletes.
I think we will see 4 Browns quarterbacks start this year. Do you think we'll see at least 3 Giants quarterbacks start this year?
I think we're going to get Dart and Wilson, and then the rest will be only case of injury.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to be benching. Like, I think we're going to see both of those guys. And honestly, I think they're going to perform pretty similarly. Like, I don't think
I will say, for the record, my take is I would just start Dart week 1.
Me too.
I wouldn't. I'm, as it is with basically every situation like this, unless there's something that particularly makes you feel another way, I would just start getting Dart in-game reps rather than having him sit behind Wilson. And like, I guess, okay, here's my question. Let's assume that Wilson starts week 1, which is like probably not a crazy assumption, right? How long do you think it goes before we see Dart? There's no way we get through the whole year unless it's like...
They go Washington, Dallas, Kansas City, Chargers to open up their first 4 games.
I don't think he's going to get benched in the first 4. Wilson is not great, but he's not like a Brissett level, frankly.
Then they come
where it was like last
stretch.
year where it was like, there's no way.
New Orleans, Philly, Denver, Philly, San Francisco.
I don't know when, but I think there's a very real possibility we see Dart week 1.
You think?
I don't know. Why not?
I mean, if he's not ready, that would be
He's not
a reason
ready.
not to.
But I mean, he's got a lot of college experience. He's not that raw, I think. Like, he can run the ball a little bit, which Dable really, really values. Like, you're not doing that with Russ. I think that alone is gonna. Plus, they drafted him in the first round. Like, they're gonna want to see Dart as soon as possible. And I don't know what will happen, but I think there's a very real shot that we see.
I think they'll run a ton of play action. They'll roll him out a ton, and they'll ask him to run a ton and be like, just use your legs as much as possible. And he'll try to get the ball out quickly. And I think there's a level of success you can find with that, even on like a not great offense. I guess my take is I don't think like he's going to be a unique disaster or anything. I'm not the highest on him, but I don't think this is going to be like, wow, you can't like, this isn't working at all. Like there's been a few guys like that recently where it's just an instant disaster. And then you have some guys who aren't great, but can still put together like a solid year or whatnot, or like look like they might be the dude for a few seasons. Dart might fall more, like if I was making like a guess on what he'd do, I feel like he's more in the latter category.
Well,
I don't want to rule out him being a disaster just because Bryce Young was a disaster.
Like, yeah.
And Dart isn't necessarily a
day ball.
It can be a disaster. Like he's not a crazy athlete. Like he's not that elusive. I don't think he can run the ball. Like he's got good downhill vision. If you want to, give him the option to keep it, like he can do it. But as far as like dropping back and deciphering the rush and avoiding it, like I don't know about that with Dart. And if he is out of his depth there, then it could be a disaster. But again, like with Russ, like he's not good at that either. At this point, he's
when Dart is a disaster, the Giants can still always go out and get the better Ole Miss quarterback.
True. He's always out there.
True.
Or they could put in Jameis. Jameis might be the best. Maybe it is 3. Jameis might be the best quarterback that they have right away. That would be kind of funny if he like way outplays him in preseason. So I guess I don't know who's going to start.
There's such a wide range of Jameis Winston outcomes. Anything.
You know what else I thought when I was watching the Giants offense? I was thinking that Devin Singletary is kind of like just like Cam Scatabo.
I don't know. I don't know if Singletary
is that a compliment to either player?
I like them both.
I feel like,
but I was just like, man, they're like I'm watching them and I'm watching.
Scatabo's a good player.
Devin Singletary's averaged almost 5 yards per carry over the course of his career. Devin Singletary's not a bad player at all. Like I was just watching his footwork and like he's really low. He's got this really low center of gravity and he breaks a ton of tackles, but he's just not very explosive. Like he's one speed. Like it's like this low key is a lot like another running back I know. He was a 3rd round pick. Have you ever seen his numbers at UCF? I think he was at. He had like 30 touchdowns in a season or something. Like 1,900 yards. Like he was cracked in college, went in a similar spot in the draft, like kind of a similar build, like tackle breaking ability. I was like, I like Scatabo fine. Like I think he can be Devin Singletary.
I feel like I'm definitely lower on Scatabo than consensus, but
I don't know. I think
if he ends up as Devin Singletary, is that good? I think that's good for him. I mean,
well, first off, Singletary, for what it's worth, averaged under 4 yards a carry last year. Situation aside, 4.5 yards per carry on the career. Almost 5. We're getting in the dubious territory on the rounding.
4.5.
You round up. 4.49 rounds up to 4.5, which rounds up to 5.
All right. Well, he averaged 3.9 last year, but that's what like Saquon averaged.
Yeah.
The year before he left.
He's like Saquon.
So last year doesn't really count.
I don't know. I just
he ripped off 3 1,000 scrimmage yard seasons in a row before New York last year.
I don't know. I'm really Scatabo. I'll say this. I don't think the Giants are that great, but I do think they're very interesting. They've got a fresh quarterback situation. They've got a super 6-star receiver. Scatabo is such a funky, weird prospect. I'm dying to see him. Because, like, he's just very unique in the sense of, like, his top-end speed feels really low, but, like, the strength is so legit. And I feel like typically you got to side in favor of wonky players like that, but I don't know. And then defensively, it's like they were so terrible last year, but they've got such a big pass rushing strength that feels like with such a cool rookie coming in. And Dexter Lawrence is such a cool player too. So I'm really curious about them, and I guess I could see if you were like really high on like a bunch of that different type of stuff and Dayball, you'd be like, no, this is gonna work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be like really, really bad. Like I know that they're probably a bottom 3 team in the Vegas odds, and that's probably true. But it feels a little harsh. I feel like the bottom feeders this year, there's just not a lot of them. Like there's not a lot of just like embarrassingly run franchises right now. Like the Raiders have gotten good, the Jaguars have gotten okay. Like I think the whole AFC South is at least somewhat
run franchise.
Well, of course, Cleveland is still there, but no other team outside of Cleveland is like. I feel like there was a time when like the Jaguars, the Raiders, the Browns, like were just like 3 teams.
Someone asked me to make a rant about a team that I think has like an underratedly good or bad front office situation. And the teams that I keep, so like the obvious teams to me were like Cleveland and Cincinnati, where it's like Cincinnati, obviously, because like the Brown family should just sell the damn team if they're not going to pay their players. And then the Cowboys came to mind a little bit because like Jerry Jones can be like a little bit of yeah, something like that. And then another team that came to mind was Tennessee, because of like the
Vrabel firing.
The Vrabel firing. They're on their, I think, 4th straight GM in the last 4 seasons. And they traded AJ Brown away to like draft the mystery box that could be AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And I was like, that might be the team that's like, so I think there are still some teams that are like,
I don't know if any of those teams are sneaky. The Browns like literally just made maybe the worst trade ever. The Bengals famously can't handle any of their contracts at all. Jerry Jones is kind of sneaky, not that good. That's my hot take. Yeah. And the Titans literally were the worst team in the NFL last year. I don't know. Like, I don't think any of those are quite hot take. Now, here's what I'll give you. I think that basically any team that is not currently good, if you talk to their fan base, they'd be like, yeah, the ownership sucks. The ownership's idiots. So like, it's hard to have a hot take that people haven't thought of before when like every fan base has a strong opinion about their own like ownership or management or whatever.
Yeah, usually good teams are run well and bad teams are not run well. The weird one is definitely like Cincinnati being like this like crazy good offense, but it's just because like they had the number 1 pick and.
Well, what about the Giants? I mean, we watched them on live TV or pre-recorded TV. Give away Saquon and Xavier McKinney.
That's true.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think the Giants, they do deserve to be at the bottom of a lot of rankings just because I don't see how Dart and Wilson plus this run game equals good offense. And if you don't have a good offense, you should be at the bottom of the rankings.
Yeah.
But if that's as bad as it gets in the league, like them and the Saints, like we're just in the Browns. But if like 2 of those 3 teams are not that bad, and you can consider like legendary basement teams of the past, I feel like. And yeah, I could see a world where they surprise. I could see a world where their pass rush does just like kick major ass, and it just they legitimately go from middle of the pack pass rush to the best. It could happen, but it feels like a lot more ifs than these other things. Like all their quarterbacks can do is probably funnel it to the first read, or run. Like it doesn't feel like they've got some good receiving options. I like Slayton a lot, but it just doesn't really feel like they're gonna be able to access everybody at all times the same way the Cowboys can, and the Eagles and Commanders can. Although I don't think those 2 are quite at Dak level in that way, but they're certainly a lot better than Russ and Jordan will be. So yeah, I think they are a deserving basement team. I also can't believe that Greg Van Roten is still a projected starter for them. It's either going to be him or Marcus Bowe, who they drafted in the 4th or 5th round, which was kind of a crazy fall for him. So hopefully he wins the starting job and not Greg Van Roten, because that guy was terrible last year. Terrible. He's not good. Him and John Michael Schmitz and whatever, and Runyon's the best of those three. Man, those other two, did not enjoy watching them. I like the tackle duo, though.
I think I've picked a repeat champion in every division so far. I think literally the only thing, because I'm realizing I'm going to go Eagles, Washington, Cowboys, Giants, which is exactly what it was last year, albeit kind of dubiously, with the Cowboys like being basically eliminated because of quarterback issues alone, right?
Yeah.
But I think did I go repeat order in the NFC North, or did I go Vikings win it, Lions second?
No, you went repeat order.
I went repeat, and I'm
repeat order every single time.
No, I haven't done repeat order every single time because I had the Panthers at 2.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. That should be the repeat order, though. Why didn't the Panthers finish second last year?
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's what he's saying.
But the Vikings aren't getting second. Oh. Who's a better prospect, Dart or McCarthy?
McCarthy.
McCarthy.
Age.
Yes. No, it's.
I think it's pretty similar.
I would.
don't know.
Again, I will stand on Corral was a better prospect than Dart.
We're not talking about him.
Maybe when we're done with all of the divisions, I'll take a step back and like do a predictions, but then insert a healthy. I cannot be this chalk. It can't be like that. That's not serious. And I'll give myself a pass with the NFC North because it's just impossible to predict.
Yeah.
That's why it should be that's not a reason why it should be the exact same.
No,
that's your excuse to do it completely differently. Packers 1, Bears 2, Lions 3, Vikings 4. If it could be anything.
If it could be anything.
Like, well, it could be anything, even the thing it already
is. Shout out Malik Neighbors.
God, and here's the thing: I'm looking at the NFC West, and I know I'm going to want to pick the Rams. I'm just whatever.
Pick the Cardinals.
You can pick the 49ers. What's wrong with picking the 49ers?
No. I got options in the West.
The NFC West can go any which way. Too.
Oh, I'm certainly not picking the Seahawks to finish 2.
There we go.
Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, Niners. I'll get some change up there.
Yeah,
the AFC.
Yeah.
We're getting nuts. We got the Raiders in the West.
You've got the Browns in the North.
I got the Browns in the North.
But thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. And as always, from your favorite 3 fellas here, Matt, Theo, I'm Blaiden, and we will catch you on the flippity flop.